First of all, my obeisances to my Gurudeva, Nitya Pravista Shravamana Goswami Maharaj, and also to Nitya Pravista Vishnupada, Srimad-Bhagavatam, Srimad-Narayana Goswami Maharaj, to their lotus feet which remove all the fear. I offer my humble dandavat pranams again and again. At the same time, my obeisances to Nitya Pravista Vishnupada, Astotarashad, Srimad-Bhagavatam Swami Maharaj, and also to the feet of all the Vaishnavis present here. Please accept my dandavat pranams accordingly, all of you. Yesterday, we discussed from the Srimad-Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 35. We discussed about the Yugala-gita. So the topic is very deep. The subject matter is very deep. According to your adhikar qualification, try to understand. So Yugala-gita is just like Venu-gita. Srila Shukadeva Goswami Pad told Parikshit Maharaj about the topmost mood of the gopis. Yesterday I also said, what is a Venu, what is a vamshi, and what is a murali? You know, 3 different kinds of flutes. We discussed the speciality of each one. So what is murali, what is vamshi, and what is Venu? So we discussed about this yesterday as well. But especially, the vamshi is very special. Acharya described the speciality of the vamshi. The gopis together. So how do you feel Isha? When you feel jealousy or envy, when you have too much prema. If you love someone and then you see some other prosperity, then you feel jealousy. In this world, jealousy or enviousness is because of your own selfish desires. But in the spiritual world, jealousy and envy, they are not for your selfishness, your own selfish things. No. It's for the service of Krishna. It's actually to increase the service of Krishna. To increase the service of Krishna. So I also told that the gopis, they see the vamshi and externally they are glorifying the flute, externally. But inside their heart they feel so much envy, jealousy. So according to the Rasa Shastra, this is one kind of a speciality of their prema. In the spiritual world, in this world, sorry, material, there is no prema, there is no love. That's why no one knows about prema, about love. Atmendriya priti vanchatare bulikam. Whatever you do to satisfy your own senses is lust. Whatever you do to satisfy the senses of Krishna is prema. So this is the difference between lust and love. When you have desire to fulfill your own sense gratification, that's lust. And when you just want to give happiness to the senses of Krishna, that's called prema. So for 2 hours yesterday, we analyzed that in details. The gopis They see the vamshi, the flutes, and they glorify, praise the flutes, externally praise. But internally, in their inner heart, they are feeling jealousy or envy. So we heard about this yesterday. Vamshi, flute, how you are fortunate. They're saying, how fortunate you are. Venu, which kind of punya karma, pious deeds did in your previous life? Because now you are drinking, you're in the middle of the lips of our Krishna. And in this lower lips and upper lips of Krishna are just like a throne of a great king, like two cushions of a throne of a great king. So the lower lips, upper lips, Adar and Oshta, lower lips. Sorry, the lower lips is called Adar and the upper lips is called Oshta. So Adar Oshta means lower lips and upper lips. Adar Oshta means lower lips and upper lips. They are just like cushions on the throne of a great king. And you are just like a great emperor, a great king in the middle. How fortunate are you? Not only that, our beloved Govinda even massages you. Massages your lotus feet. Because when Krishna plays the flute, he's with his finger he's softly pressing the flute, and the gopis think, oh, so the flute is Krishna is serving the feet of the flute. Not only that, Krishna also fans you. Vyanjan means fanning. He's fanning you as well. Meaning, when Krishna plays the flute, then when Krishna's eyelids blink up and down because he's blinking his eyes, it's like Krishna is fanning the flute. So how lucky are you? Not only that, when Krishna plays the flute, nectar of Krishna's lips also go inside the flute, and the flute is relishing all that. So externally the gopis are glorifying the flute, but in their hearts they are feeling so much burn, just like this itching, like this jealousy. In this world, women, they have jealousy towards other women. But men, they have what? Desh, which is like hatred or hate towards or anger towards another man. Isn't it? Something. But the gopis here is opposite. It's opposite showing. Because they are having a hatred towards whom? Towards a male. Because the vamshi is a man. Vamshi, the flute, is a man. It's like a male. And you have nothing inside you. You are like hollow. You are dry piece of bamboo. How can you make these beautiful sounds? Isn't it? We actually should relish the nectar of Krishna's lips, not you. This is our property, You are male. So a man generally doesn't drink the nectar of another man. But how are you drinking the nectar of Krishna's lips? So this is opposite of how it should be. Acharya is describing in the commentary, especially Vishwanath Chakravarti Pada, Jiva Goswami. In the commentary, they describe so beautifully these bhavas. So he's saying here, okay, tell me, which karma did you do in your previous life? Because you must have done a punya karma, pious deeds. Otherwise, nobody could attain this good fortune like you. Example, take birth in a high family or in a rich family, and all, to have a lot of opulence or knowledge and all these things. or even name, fame, reputation also to get that. It's not like a ordinary. It's like there is a punya karma behind, pious deeds from previous life, or like an austerity from previous life to be able to get that. So tell me, which kind of tapasya austerity you did in your previous life? Otherwise, example, to become a king, you must have done some tapas, some austerity in your previous life. If you did punya karma, you can get a son as well, a child. Shastra explains, if you have punya, you can have children. You can have a good children if you have good punya. I mean, if you have punya, pious deeds from previous life. Otherwise, you're going to be like Gandhari. You have 100 kids, but all of them are like dogs and jackals. They're worthless. So punya putra, if you have pious deeds, you can have good children. If you have a good pious deeds from previous life, then you can have a Vaishnava putra, a Vaishnava son or child, Vaishnava children. For example, Kunti and Madri. You know, Pandu, he had 5 kids, like with Kunti and Madri together, and all of them were devotees. But all the sons of Gandhari, 100 kids, they're all like what? Dogs and jackals, like animals. Useless, because she didn't have the pious deed for that, the punya karma. Bhagyavarja, if it's in your dynasty, if your destiny is good, means your karma also, your destiny is good, you can get a wife or a husband. Bhagyavarja, punya putra bhagyavarja tape raja, this verse. Tape raja means if you have done austerity and charity in previous life, you can get the position of being a king. Otherwise, it's not easy, like not randomly somebody becomes king. Tell me. So the gopis are saying here, Benu, Vamshi, your flute, tell us. Which tapas austerity you did in your previous life? And then the flute answers, oh, I haven't done any austerity in previous life. Gopis, it's because I have taken your foot dust and I have taken your uchista, your remnants. Then I took birth as a bamboo. And then I came as a bamboo. See. How? How are you taking the lotus nectar of Gopi's mouth? Who took the nectar from the Gopi's mouth? The bamboo, the vamshi. And also I took your foot dust. Because without the foot dust of the gopis, without the nectar of the Gopi's mouth, nobody could attain that high position. So the flute is going to explain how he took birth in Vrindavan, in the banks of the Jamuna. Because the vamshi is a bamboo, right? Where is it? Where its birth takes birth? By the banks of the Jamuna, the bamboo tree, right? And then the gopis bathe in the Jamuna. They wash their clothes. So they are bathing the Jamuna. In this way, the flute also received the lotus nectar, like nectar of the gopis' mouth, of the lotus mouth of the gopis. So Bamboo is saying, we took the nectar of your mouth. Because when you bathe in the Jamuna, also we are drinking the food bathing water of the gopis. This is true or not? So the Vamshi is saying this. I actually didn't do any punya karma, pious deeds. If I had any punya karma, pious deeds, it's actually because of you making me God. You made me get that. You made me get that. Anyway, continuing. And how does the flute manifest that sound? The sound, sweet sound coming from the flute. How? Our beloved Govinda only blows air in the flute, right? But how does the sound come? The nice sound comes from the flute. Then the flute says, "It's also not my. It's not my own credit. It's not my quality. It's not my credit. Inside me, there's nothing. I'm hollow. I'm hollow completely, empty. If your heart is hollow, then you can be played. But if your heart is full of lust and anger, it cannot be played. So the vamshi is empty inside. The flute is hollow, empty. Oh, gopis, hear me out. I don't have any material desires in me. If your heart is clean, if it's without any material desire, then that sound can be made. So in the same way, when our heart is going to be pure from all material desires by the mercy of Nityananda, we're going to be able to see the transcendental Vrindavan. If there are many desires in your heart, so these desires, they fill your heart. So you must make it hollow or empty. The more you empty your heart, means purify your heart, clean your heart, cleanse your heart, then the flute will play. That's the meaning. So if you have many material desires, even if you have lust, anger, greed, envy, desire for name, fame, reputation, to be honored, respected, the flute will not play also. Because the flute is saying, I don't have anything in my life. The flute is saying, oh gopis, whatever I attained is actually because of your mercy. The flute is telling the gopis. So the flute is telling very humbly like this, I have no qualification. I have no qualification. By your mercy, I attained everything by your mercy only. So hearing this, the gopis, they again became jealous. Sorry, they again became jealous. They said, Gopi, oh flute, you're always playing, making sound, so we cannot sleep properly. So we have to give up our patience, our honor, values of the family, everything. You see how is this Shyamasundara? He's a foolish person, gopis are saying. He's like a foolish, anpar means like Krishna never studied. He's like, he doesn't even know how to read and write. He only like grazes cows every day. Sometimes early in the morning. Since early in the morning, playing the flute. Means early in the morning what? Playing the flute. When you wake up early in the morning, you should do things around your house. Example, wash the dishes, clean the floor, you know, like mop the floor and things like that. You should do it or not. But instead, early in the morning, you are playing the flute. Early in the morning, and then we cannot even do our household chores, and then we run away after you. Sometimes you also play the flute in the middle of the night. At least let us sleep. Come on. But the Shyamasundara, what he's doing? In the middle of the night, he's playing the flute. We are not able to serve our husband. We were in the middle of serving our husband, but then he played the flute, and then we just left our husband Seva, and we ran away. Giving up all kind of respect, all kind of patience, all kinds of honor, all kind of, like following the rules and regulations of society. We left all that. We had to sacrifice all our moral, So the gopis are saying, so all the bamboo trees, they should be burned in the fire. May all bamboos become ashes. Because the vamshi comes from the bamboo tree. In Vrindavan, all the bamboo trees, all the bamboos, they should become ashes. They should be burned right now. Because there's also a proverb saying, if there's no bamboo, nobody will play the flute. It's like a proverb also in Hindi. So because if there's no bamboo, there will be no flute. That's true. So the gopis are saying this. So at the same time, the gopis are praising, but at the same time, they also have this jealousy and envy. Continuing. So Yugala-gita is two verses expressing the. Because, example, in Venu-gita, each verse expresses the bhava, but in Yugala-gita, each two verses manifest one bhava. So in Venu-gita, one verse manifests bhava, but in the Yugala-gita, every two verses manifest a bhava. That's why the name is Yugala-gita. Yugala means couple. So actually, they look like same, Venu-gita and Yugala-gita. But there is some difference amongst these two songs. Because Yugala-gita, every two verses manifest one bhava. So yesterday I described Purvaraga, Mana, Prabhasa, Prema, Vaichita, 4 types of viraha, separation. This is Vipralamba Bhava, 4 kinds of Vipralamba. Purvaraga, Mana, Prabhasa, and Prema, Vaichita. And Sambhoga is also of 4 types. Sankipta, Sankirna, Sampurna, and Sambridhaman. So according to the kind of Vipralamba there is, the meeting will also be according to that kind of separation that took place. So all this is described in details in the book Ujjwala Nilamani by Srila Rupa Goswami Pada. And Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Pada also and Jiva Goswami, in their commentaries also they describe so beautifully all that. So the taste of the meeting will depend on the separation which took place. Just like when you dye a saffron cloth. Means the more separation the meeting will be nourished. And the meeting becomes more delicious. Like better. So this Vipralamba Bhava dances on the head of the meeting, Vishwanath Chakravarti says. Vipralamba is very special. That's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was always absorbing the Vipralamba Bhava. And he used to hear all this Lila Katha from Swarupa Damodara and Raya Ramananda, and he used to relish all that. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was suffering in separation, especially when he was in the Gambhira, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was suffering in separation. And then at that time, Swarupa Damodara and Raya Ramananda, they used to express all these bhavas, sometimes with shlokas of Venu-gita, sometimes Yugala-gita, also Brahmara-gita. So they used to recite all these verses. Sometimes Raya Ramananda also would recite verses from the book he himself wrote, which is Jagannatha Vallabha Nartakam. And so he also used to do kirtan of these verses from his book. And also other verses that he himself composed. For example, just like the one she sang, Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Valitam. This beautiful, so beautiful, these shlokas, these verses, Raya Ramananda used to recite for Lord Chaitanya. Hearing these verses, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his separation would increase even more. But in that separation, Mahaprabhu, he was relishing some bhogras, the meeting. Externally separation, but in the inner core of heart, happiness. So if you see, this verse says, if you see any kind of unhappiness in the behavior of a Vaishnava, sorrow, know that actually he's feeling inside the Vaishnava is tasting the supreme happiness. Externally looks like separation, viraha. But in the inner core of heart, anandaras, relishing the bliss of the meeting, anandaras, milanras. So these two verses say, Here the gopis, they're expressing their bhavas. And they're saying, "Oh Venu, what can I say about your swarup, about your form? Oh Vamshi, what can we say about you?" When our beloved Govinda goes in the bank of the Jamuna and he stands, like he stops standing up, like just straight, and then with his left arm, so left arm and left cheeks, when he puts his left cheek on his left arm or something, and then with his sidelong glances he looks at us with his sidelong glances. And when he plays the flute and releases the nectar of his lips, at that time, when he moves his finger, because when he plays the flute, right, he moves his fingers. He moves his fingers. And this beautiful melody that comes from the flute, this enchanting melody. Sometimes this melody, there are three kinds of sounds or notes. Sar, Datta, Anudatta, Sarit. What did I say? Udatta, Anudatta and Sarit. Udatta, Anudatta, Sarit. Even when you chant the mantra also you can do like this, especially the Brahma Gayatri mantra. Udatta, Anudatta, Sarit. Like sometimes you go up, like middle and coming down. Like going more, like how to say in English, like the high pitch or low pitch scale, up and down, high pitch and low pitch. So when our beloved Govinda, he's playing the flute and he's also doing like this, Udatta, Anudatta, Sarit, going high pitch, low pitch, like this. And then we cannot control ourselves when we hear the sound of this flute, because the sound of the flute goes beyond this world and even reaches Swargalok as well. So go across Bulok and then Bhuvalok and goes until Swargalok. Then in Swargalok, these beautiful apsaras, these heavenly damsels, early in the morning, they are plucking flowers from the kalpa vriksha, from the desired tree, and then they hear the sound of the flute and they start shaking, like they cannot even cope. Their hands start shaking. Their hands automatically start shaking. And then, because they are shaking like that, all those flowers that they were plucking from the kalpa vriksha, desired tree, start falling on the ground. And all these heavenly damsels, apsaras, they cannot control themselves anymore. And then they faint. They faint. And then these apsaras, the sound of the flutes goes beyond and goes to Vaikuntha. Even beyond Vaikuntha, Yoda, Dvaraka, Mathura, and then comes to Goloka Vrindavan. And then all the Vrajramanis, the gopis of Vraj, they are completely enchanted by the sound of this flute. In the book Krishna Karnamrit, this is beautifully described. And so the same bhava also here is described. Shukadeva Goswami says, Maharaj Parikshit, see now the stage of the gopis, what happens to them. Mukunda means that one who gives liberation. Mukti jasa iti Mukunda. Or another meaning, one who has the lotus face, like a face like the Kunda flower. That's another meaning of Mukunda. Who gives all kinds of liberation is Mukunda. That's why Krishna's name is Mukunda. And also his face is beautiful like the Kunda flower, so that's why his name is Mukunda. Or another meaning is Krishna puts to shame the happiness of the liberation that the monists, Advaitavadis, search for. The Advaitavadi people, they glorify so much mukti, means liberation, personal liberation. But even this happiness becomes like insignificant next to the beauty of Krishna. Krishna is so beautiful, and the sound of his flute is so enchanting and beautiful. Rupa Madhurya, Vena Madhurya, Lila Madhurya, Prema Madhurya. These four extraordinary sweetness. These four extraordinary qualities of Krishna. How many? Four extraordinary sweetness. Krishna is so pretty. He's so handsome that the happiness of liberation becomes insignificant next to Krishna's beauty. So, Krishna, another meaning of Mukunda is because he puts to shame this happiness of liberation and he gives us the highest prem. He gives the Premananda. And he puts to shame this happiness of liberation, means shows it's like a insignificant next to the happiness of the divine love. Another meaning of Mukunda is also that he opens all the knots or all the bondages. So what are the bondages or the knots of the gopis? Gopis don't have any bondage, right? Because the gopis, they don't have even family. Those who live in family, then they have this bondage. For example, my son, my daughter, my husband, my wife. These are all bondages. These are bondage, right? Yes. So this is samsara bandhan. It's like the prison of the material world or the family life. When you think like I and mine. But the gopis, they don't have this. If they have it, they only Govinda, nothing else. So, what is the mukti? What is the liberation that the gopis need, right? Because if you have a bondage, then you need liberation. Because the opposite of mukti means liberation. It's bondage, bandhan, correct? Example, rog means disease. So if you're sick, you want to be free from the disease. You want to be free from that disease. Roga mukti means to be cured. So if you have a disease, you want to be cured. Then you have to take medicine, the treatment. And if you take the medicine, then you're roga mukti, means you're free or liberated from that disease. But the gopis have no disease. And they have no bhava roga, like they are not in the prison of the material world or the disease of material world. So in this verse of the Bhagavatam, āhuś nalina-nābha padāravindaṁ. The gopis are saying, this verse is so beautiful, the last line also. Gopis are saying in this verse, Hey Krishna, all the samsara katha you're talking about means the material bondage you've been speaking. Everybody wants liberation from the bondage, correct? Yes. Or if you have, for example, you're bound by a disease, then you want the cure, you want to be free from that, then you have to go to the doctor for that. So this is one kind of mukti, liberation. But the gopis, they don't have any samsara roga, no material disease, and they don't have no bondage of material world because they don't have parents, no siblings, no children. Because actually they don't have attachment to anything, because the attachment is the cause of bondage. The gopis they are not attached to anything. So who is the topmost sannyasi? Actually, the gopis are the best of all the sannyasis. There's no higher sannyasi than the gopi. Because what is the actual meaning of sannyasi? Someone who is free from all the bondages. Free from all the bondages. Agada bodhi in this verse means You have to give this knowledge to Brahma. Gopis tell to Krishna in this verse. You have to give this kind of knowledge to Brahma. So in this verse, gopis are like chastising Krishna, saying, you know who meditate in your feet is the yogis. Because why they meditate in your feet? Because they want to be free from this material world. Who wants mukti, liberation, is one who is bound. But if someone is already free, he doesn't want liberation. He's already free. Try to understand that. So those who are bound in the material world because of sorrows, because of diseases, or whatever kind of bondage in the material world, that person wants liberation, mukti, okay. But the gopis, they don't have samsara, no family attachments. So why Krishna is giving instruction to them? Because in this verse, in the previous verse, Krishna said, "Hey gopis, mai bhakti bhutanam." To perform a bhakti to me is the topmost welfare for all the living entities. In this way, the living entities, they are free from all fear and attain to me. Mai bhakti bhutanam, this verse explains. So the gopis say, in answer to Krishna, they are like, but we don't have samsara, we don't have family bondage, material bondage. You should give these instructions to Lord Brahma. Brahma, Shiva, and these great yogis, then you should give these instructions to them. Because they are meditating and they want to be free from the material world. Krishna says, hey gopis, the reason why you're suffering, Krishna says, is because you're not meditating enough. Meditate in my feet. Try to meditate in my feet. Try to meditate in my feet. Krishna tells them. If you would meditate, like Krishna is teaching the gopis how to meditate. He's trying to give this teaching to the gopis that they should meditate. Look, great rishis and munis, they don't feel separation from me because they are always absorbed in the meditation of like thinking about me, so they don't feel separation. So Krishna says, Mai bhakti bhutanam amritata kalpate. Bhavatinam madapanam. Hearing this, the gopis felt in their heart so much sorrow, like sadness, like they felt so upset, and anger at the same time. They felt upset and angry. They felt upset and angry. And they said, you should give this instruction to Brahma, who knows all the Vedas and has a lot of knowledge. Give this. Give this instruction to him. We don't want to meditate in your feet. Because when we think about your feet, immediately our heart melts. Immediately when we think about your feet. Why? Because your feet is so soft and beautiful. And then you're running behind the cows with these soft feet and tender feet. And when you run behind the cows, you feel your feet feel so much pain. So just thinking of that, our heart melts. Just thinking about that. And you want to give us teaching to meditate in your feet? That we should meditate in your feet? Krishna, you don't know which kind of instruction to give. Those who are bound in the material world, to them you should say, okay, be free from the material world. But if someone is already free from the material world, would you tell this person, follow mukti? No. So the gopis saying, you're teaching us to meditate. This is like this is like ridiculous. Like what is this? Hilarious. Like you don't even know which kind of instruction to give. So the sound of the flute reaches Yugala-gita. When Krishna is three-band fold and with his sidelong glances, He's actually enchanting everyone. And with his sidelong glances, he's piercing the heart of the gopis and plays the flute. At that time, we cannot control ourselves. We cannot control ourselves. When Mukunda Krishna, wherever he is, we leave our household chores and then we go to him. Hearing the sound of the flute, the gopis, what do? They automatically give up all the family household duties and chores, and then they, wherever Krishna is, they go there. And then at that time the gopis are running to meet him, and then the earrings of the gopis on their ears start shaking and doing the sound jing 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 because they're running. And very beautiful. So wherever Krishna is, they go. They give up all the patience, all the moral, all the shyness. What to speak of us, gopis say? We are women. We have no knowledge. We're not intellectuals. We have nothing. But in Swargalok, in Swargaloka, all these ladies from there, they're so pretty, they're gorgeous, and they are with their husbands in a divine, like spaceship or chariot, sitting. But when they see the form of Krishna, they also start moving. They also give up their shyness and they come. They bring their husbands in their divine chariots or spaceships and they come. But something very amazing happens. From far, they see their husbands, just see the lotus feet of Krishna from far, and they also faint, their husbands. And then immediately, these devis, with the women, demigoddesses, that are coming with their husbands, demigods, they feel so much calm, passions in their hearts. So their heart also melts because of this intense desire, and then their clothes, they become loose. Their clothes become loose. They loosen. This is what happens with them. Oh, wow. So those who attain the siddhi, perfection, and are in a very high level as well, even their wives, when they hear the sound of the flute of Govinda, they faint next to their husbands. And their clothes, all the knots of their clothes, also automatically loosen up. Just like sound of the flute of Krishna enchants, mesmerizes everyone. So the sound of Krishna's flute, it's like mesmerizing potency. Mohan is like really like mesmerizing. Do you understand? So first akarshan attracts, and then after samohan completely enchants. Third, unmad makes you crazy, and then maddening, and then fourth makes you faint, and fifth arrow, the fifth arrow, all the activities becomes like stunned, stop. So the sound of the flutes, there is like an enchanting, mesmerizing potency, mesmerizing arrow. The sound of the flute makes that effect with everyone. So the gopis are saying Rupa Madhurya of Krishna and Venu Madhurya, sound of his flute. Krishna has 4 sweetness, but here 2 of them specifically the gopis are highlighting. So his Rupa Madhurya, sweetness of his form, and Venu Madhurya, the sweetness of his flute. For example, in the cold time, there's one insect that when it sees the fire, that insect wants to jump in the fire, like to drink that fire or something. You know that insect? And then this insect actually kills himself going to the fire because he's attracted by that form. Or some, for example, fish, they actually die because they are motivated by their tongue. So, example, different animals, because of form or different kinds of desires, they kill themselves. Like example, this insect, attracted by the form of fire, jumps in the fire and kills himself. Example, fish, because they have so much desire to taste something, what happens? They also kill themselves, right? Because when the fisherman comes, the fisherman will, he throws that the hook with the bait, right? And then there's a bait, right? The bait has some food or something, and then the fish wants to eat that, and that's the cause of his death. And that's stuck in his neck, the neck of the fish. And then finally the fisherman is able to fish that fish. The hiran means the deer hears some special sound and comes next to the hunter. Because the hunter, to catch a deer, what does he do? He puts some wooden spikes on the soil, on the floor, and then he covers, right? And then he plays the flute, and the deer is attracted by the sound of the flute and comes close to the hunter. And then what happens? The sound of the flute is so sweet, very sweet. And then hearing that, the deer falls he leans on that sharp wood or something that the hunter kept there. So the deer, when it takes shelter of that wood falls, and then when it falls, the deer also falls, and there's like a trap. And when that deer falls, then the hunter takes a stick and starts beating the deer. So that was a trap for the deer. In the end, the deer gives up his life. So he was attracted by the sound of the flute, and that was the cause of his death. So the insect was attracted by the form of the fire, and it was the cause of his death. The fish is attracted because of the desire to taste something with the tongue, and then they die. And another animal is attracted by the smell. So which animal was that dies because of the attraction of the smell? So this is in the Bhagavatam described. Each different animals, they die. For example, the elephant, he wants to, for example, how to hunt an elephant. What happens? The hunter will show to the elephant a female elephant, and then he'll train that female elephant very nicely. So when the male elephant comes next to the female elephant, he keeps like a hole, a ditch nearby, and then this female elephant a little bit pushes the male elephant, and the male elephant falls in that ditch. So he was attracted because he wanted to touch that female elephant, right? So inside that ditch, the male elephant is like for days he's like not eating nothing, and then he becomes like weak. So when he's really weak, then the hunter takes him out of the ditch, and then controls him like has him like a tamed, like try to. So the elephant, he like has to submit his life because he wanted to touch the female elephant. So these are all the 5 senses, right? Touch, sight, smell, and sound. So, but now I'm missing the ganda, means the smell. Which animal is give an example that he dies because, or he's controlled because of the smell? So sparsha, which is touch, the example is the elephant. Rupa, which is form, the example is the small insects that jump in the fire, attracted to the form of fire. Ras means taste, so I gave the example the fish. The fish wants to relish the food, and that's why he's caught in the bait, the hook of the fisherman.
The bumblebee, right? Bumblebee goes to the flute.
So say bumblebee?
Bumblebee.
So did the same bumblebee? Someone can tell Gurudev and ask bumblebee.
It goes in the flutes, it closes at night.
Bumblebee, Gurudev. Brahmar?
Bumblebee goes in the lotus. Bumblebee.
Yes, so the bee feels that good fragrance and goes inside the flower. So the gopis are saying the form of Krishna is so beautiful. This is what happens to us when we see his form. And the sound of the flute. So the gopis are saying, look, in Vrindavan, all these deer, look at what happens with the deer in Vrindavan. So when Nanda Krishna plays the flute, so see what happens with the deer when he's attracted by the sound of the flute. So the deer comes close to Krishna, approaches Krishna. Sannyasis muragatayo. The gopis are saying, oh, we are so weak. And Krishna plays the flute. The cows and the animals, the deer. Their heart is completely attracted. Their mind is attracted. They forget everything. Means the cows, what they're doing? Generally they're eating grass. But when Krishna plays the flute, when they hear the sound of the flute, the cow stops eating the flute. Oh, eating grass, sorry. And then half of grass is inside the mouth of the cow and half grass outside its mouth. And their eyes are open because they are having the darshan of the beautiful form of Krishna. So from that direction which the flute is coming, they keep their face towards that direction. And they open their ears so wide so that they can hear the sound of the flute. And they are having the darshan of the beautiful form of Krishna. It looks like that someone has, on the wall, painted these cows. Because they're like not moving. This is what happens with the cows. Hearing the sound of the flute, all the cows of Vrindavan, they become stunned. Their heart melts, the heart of the cows melts. And then because of that, tears start dropping from their eyes. But they look like pearls. Like pearls falling, like a rain of pearls. Because their heart melted, the heart of the cows melted. And because their hearts melted, then automatically these tears start falling from their eyes. And this is what happens with the cows. These tears start falling from their eyes, and then the gopis think, look, it looks like pearls, like a rain of pearls. And all the small calves, the calves. So they had their mouth in the other of their mom's cows, and then the milk is coming from the other, but then the cows are not drinking the milk anymore. And then the milk starts overflowing from out of their mouths. Hearing the sound of the flute of Krishna. And then the beauty of Krishna is so powerful that controls everyone. Another point also mentioned here is and the beautiful smile of Krishna, his smile. It's like the lightning. Because the teeth of Krishna's teeth is very white. Very white. Krishna's teeth is really white. So pretty. So Krishna is Bhagavan, right? But the gopis don't think he is Bhagavan. But Krishna has a swarna rekha, a golden line on his chest. Lakshmi Devi is in his chest like a golden line, correct? For 1,000 years, Lakshmi Devi, she performed austerities. And then Krishna said, well, if you want to enter my Rasa Leela, you have to follow some rules. You have to give up your Lakshmi Abhiman. And you have to be under the guidance of the gopis in Braj. Serve. You have to take birth in the house of gopis. You have to marry a gop. And you have to meet me in Parakya Bhav. But Lakshmi Devi, she didn't want to accept that. She performed so many hard austerities, and then finally, in the end, Krishna accepted Lakshmi as a golden line on his chest. Not in the form of Lakshmi, but in the form of a golden line. Seeing that, Saraswati Devi, which is the presiding deity of knowledge, Saraswati Devi, she also, for thousands of years, also performed austerities as well. You give place to Lakshmi and not to me. One woman doesn't get, and the other woman is like, oh, and I won't get as well. Women are always having this jealousy or competition amongst each other. Men don't have like that. If the other one got, no problem. Men think like that. Men, they don't have this so much envy or jealousy. True or not? Like for example, distributing prasad. If a man got, no problem. If the other man got, no problem. But if the woman didn't get the prashada, externally she's like, oh, no problem, no problem. Externally she's saying, but in the heart she's feeling so much jealousy and envy. What can I tell you? You have no problem if you didn't get. No, I can also buy from the market. A man will think like that. I can also buy from the market. No problem if I didn't get. No problem. Yes, I can go. No problem. But women, why didn't get? Why me? I didn't get. Why? Women will think like that. So if it's not in your bhagya, in your fortune, in your destiny, you'll not get. You can tell that to the person, right? Well, only you get whatever is in your destiny. Yeah, where was it again? Huh? There's a story in the Upanishads. So this is the story of the Upanishads. That Saraswati also performed hard austerities. She also wanted to get that. And then Bhagavan accepted Saraswati as the Venu, as the flutes. Bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. So the secret behind the Venu. What is the secret of the Venu? The Puranas describe how the Venu took birth. Who is actually the Venu? Saraswati Devi herself. That appeared as the Venu. So this Saraswati, that in one form manifests as the flute. For thousands of years, Saraswati, she performed those stages. And after that, Krishna himself accepted her as a flute. So otherwise, how would this very nice sound come? Because Vak Devi means the presiding nature of the sound. Even all this knowledge of Gandharva, of this music, comes from Srimati Radhika. Actually, this flute, who is actually the flute? It's Srimati Radhika herself. Applause, applause. Because who can drink the nectar of Krishna's lotus lips? Only Srimati Radhika. No one else has the qualification, the prerogative to get the nectar from Krishna's lips. Who is actually only the qualified to take his lips nectar? Is Srimati Radhika. Jai Sri Radhe. This is a very subtle conception on the details. Our commentaries, the commentaries of the Goswamis, they explain. If you don't read the commentary, you're thinking, oh, the flute, but who is the flute actually? Externally is like a piece of bamboo, okay. But actually, who is the flute is Srimati Radhika herself. Because Brajendra Nanda Radharani only touches Krishna, no one else. And Krishna, who can actually give shelter to Krishna? Srimati Radhika. Because who is the soul, Atma of Krishna is Srimati Radhika. So there are many Tattva Siddhantas about that. If I tell too much, your mind cannot enter the Tattva Siddhanta, your mind will go here and there. But who is the Atma, the soul of Krishna, is Srimati Radhika herself. Because Krishna is Atmaram, he's self-satisfied. One who has happiness in his own soul is called Atmaram, Ramana Bihari. Krishna is doing Bihar, like enjoying with whom? Srimati Radhika. Krishna doesn't accept anyone except Srimati Radhika. Krishna is actually one point and loyal to Srimati Radhika. Krishna does not accept anyone except Srimati Radhika. He's one pointed to her also. Do you understand? Externally, the other things is just to increase the prema rasa madhurya, the sweetness of the relish of the divine love. Just like, for example, the waves of the ocean, they're going up on the ocean and again in the ocean they merge. the waves. They go up and they merge. The waves are coming from where? From the ocean. And then they increase the ocean beauty, and then again they merge in the ocean itself. So the waves are made of water from the ocean. So the waves of water. So that's the waves, right? Is nothing else, right? So this Advaigana Paratata. He manifests many forms to relish all these rasas. The supreme absolute truth is only one, Ekameva Paramatata, that manifests eternally in four forms. Four forms that are compared to the sun, the rays of the sun, etc. This verse explains. So it's only one tattva, one supreme truth, and he manifests many forms and has many activities. So this Advaigana Paratata, only one tattva. The supreme truth is only one. And they manifest many forms for the pastimes. Actually, there is no Krishna without Radha, and there is no Radha without Krishna. Do you understand? All the tattva that we speak here and there, but actually, Radha is Krishna and Krishna is Radha. Time is up. He's asking about Chandravali. Who is Chandravali? It's Srimati Radhika also, a manifestation of Srimati Radhika. All the gopis, Ananda Chimaya Rasa, this verse from Brahma Samhita explains. Ananda Chimaya Rasa, verse from Brahma Samhita. If you understand that, then you understand all Tata Siddhanta. Everything else is actually only to relish, pastimes and lila ras. Because without many consorts, the rasa wouldn't be so relishable. Chaitanya Charitamrita describes Devi Krishna my Putta. And Brahma Samhita says Ananda Chimaya Rasa, this verse. So if you understand the Tata Siddhanta, then you can relish rasa if you understand Tata Siddhanta. Who is Chandravali? She's actually one manifestation of Srimati Radhika. As a rival, performing Leela as like a rival, opposite mood. If Chandravali wouldn't be there, then who would manifest the glories of Srimati Radhika? So Srimati Radhika herself manifests in another form as Chandravali. And this Chandravali comes here in Dvaraka as Rukmini. Is also a manifestation of Srimati Radhika. And Satyabhama is a direct manifestation of Srimati Radhika. If Chandravali wouldn't be there, who would manifest the glories of Srimati Radhika? How can we know the glories of Srimati Radhika? So the rival should be there. Because the Vipaksha, the opposite group or the opposite person, rival, should be there for that. So Jogamaya arranged that. Ananda Chimaya Rasa, so this verse explains clearly Brahma Samhita, Taya Kalabhi, means Srimati Radhika is Swarupa Shakti Swarupini, the internal potency of Lord, and to make Krishna relish Lila Ras, pastimes, flavors, she manifests in many forms. The gopis are actually all the gopis. They all Srimati Radhika. All of them are Srimati Radhika. Janma Adasa Jataha. First verse of the Bhagavatam also. Janma Adiras. The original ras is Shringaras, Paramur. And who is the origin of the Shringaras? Is Srimati Radhika. Shringaras is the origin and source of all the rasas. Even Shanta, Dansa, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. All tastes of relationship with Krishna, all of them are coming from Srimati Radhika. Just like in the ocean, all the rivers, they flow to the ocean. So all the rivers, they come from the ocean and also they go back to the ocean later. All the rivers come from the ocean, they manifest from the ocean water, and also they go to the ocean later. Just like the rivers, all the rivers, they manifest from the ocean, they come from the ocean, and the water of the rivers also they merge in the ocean again back later. But something very interesting happens according to the Gaudiya-Tata Siddhanta. The water comes from the ocean and is known by different rivers. For example, Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati, Kaveri, Narmada. All the rivers, okay? They have different names. But when they merge in the ocean, what happens? You tell me. Their names are kept or not when they merge in the ocean? Otherwise, this becomes Advaitavada. I didn't hear what the Didi said. But they continue individual, even in the ocean. So we see that the water of the Ganges merge in the water of the ocean. We see. Looks like. But even though she's there, she continues separate, individual, even in the ocean. All the water drops, they still continue separate. So externally looks like the same water, the water of the Ganges merge in the water of the ocean. But no. All these droplets of water of the Ganges, they are continue separate. Externally looks like that the water mixed and everything looks like all same, but no. Each droplet has their own individuality and their own separate existence. That's the Tata Siddhanta. Externally we say, the water means all the water of all the rivers, because this is the difference between Dvaitavada and Advaitavada, monism, dualism and monism. Achinta Beda Beda Tata Siddhanta. So there's difference and oneness at the same time, inconceivably. So externally we think, all the waters of the river mixed and merge in the water of the ocean. And then we don't take anymore the names of the rivers, because the water of the rivers now they merge in the ocean, right? Isn't it? But we're not recognizing them in the ocean and telling their names. But they are actually there still, separate, but they are inside. So this achinta bheda and abheda. Difference is there and non-difference also at the same time, and it is inconceivable. So externally we see there's abheda, non-difference, looks like all the water in the river and the ocean is the same. But actually they're still separate in an individual position. So that's why in achinta, inconceivably, oneness and difference at the same time. Achinta bheda bheda. Do you understand? The Advaitavadis monist people, the monists, they only see abhed, means non-difference. They don't take into consideration the bhed, the difference. But Gaudiya Siddhanta, Mahaprabhu established Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva Siddhanta. So there's bhed, difference, and also abhed, non-difference at the same time. Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva Siddhanta. So the verse of the Bhagavatam is that Jata Nadas, this verse of the Bhagavatam. Just like of all the rivers, they merge and mix in the ocean and they forget everything, like this verse says. So externally, this is like general conception. It's okay to say the rivers mix in the ocean, but still the droplets of the water of the rivers, they don't become one with the water of the ocean. If one drop of water would mix with the other drop of water, then how do it increase the volume? Example, if you have one glass of water, glass of water, a cup with water. If you put one more drop of that water, the water mixes with the other water or not? If it would become completely one, why the water which is overflowing, like if it's too much water in the cup, why the water would start overflowing? Is your brain working? Think about a cup full of water, a cup completely full of water, and you put one more drop of water, think about that. The more water you put, which is more of the volume of the cup, that same amount will just overflow, isn't it? If they would become one completely, really like one, then how come the water would overflow and start falling out of the cup? Because you put too much water, for example. Yes, water is water. The water didn't actually not mix completely. They didn't, externally looks like become the same water of the cup and everything, but actually not, because you can see the water is overflowing. So there's difference at the same time. So Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva Siddhanta. So you can read this verse of the Bhagavatam. Jata Nada Samavita is one verse of the Bhagavatam. You search, Even this you couldn't understand, so Jatanada, just like all the rivers, they merge in the ocean and they forget their own swarup, their own form. Just like example, if you go to Jagannath Puri, okay? All the rivers, they merge in Jagannath Puri in the ocean or not? But are you not saying, oh, this is the water of the Jamuna, water of the Kaveri, Narmada, Ganges? You're not seeing or saying that. You just say water of the ocean, that's it. But still, all the waters of the Tirthas are still there with establishing their own individuality and form, separately actually, even inside the ocean. You should understand that. This is called Achintya, Bheda and Abhed. There's difference, Abhed and Abhed, non-difference as well. She's asking, what is the importance of Ganga Sagar? Please speak loudly.
Ganga Sagar is importance. That is the same place Ganga mixed with the ocean.
She's asking, what is the importance of Ganga Sagar when the Ganga mixed with the ocean?
Ganga Sagar.
So what is the meaning of going to Ganga Sagar only once? Because if you bathe once in your life, then all your sins go away, so you don't need to bathe again. Applause, applause. So if they say in Hindi like this, like go to all the places of pilgrimage again and again, Sab, Tirtha, Bar Bar, Ganga Sagar, Ekabar. But at least once go to Ganga Sagar. Because there's a doubt, if you go to the pilgrimage places, maybe your heart will be pure, maybe not. But if you go to Ganga Sagar, the meeting of Ganges and the ocean, if you bathe there only once, you don't need to go again, in the sense because of all your sins are completely destroyed. But if you go to other Tirthas, maybe or not you're purified, maybe not. But if you go to Ganga Sagar even once and bathe there, you don't need to go anymore, in the sense because it's definitely sure that you're completely purified, because the Ganges meets with the ocean. That's the glory of the... So you bathe in the Ganges because you're a sinful person, you're a sinner. If you bathe in other Tirthas, there's still a doubt if you're really purified. There's a doubt. But if the Ganges are so glorious that when the Ganges meets the ocean, it's called Mona. Delta, I think they call it in English, not delta. Is like when a river falls and comes in the ocean, isn't it? Delta, you call it? Delta? No? Anyway, it's the meeting of a river with the ocean, okay? So you don't need to go in any other place. So why people go to Tirthas? To clean themselves from sin. But if you go to Ganga Sagar, all sins will go away. So no need to go again. So at least once bathe in the Ganges. In Ganga Sagar specifically, 2 years ago I went, Gurudev said, Ganga Sagar, the meeting of the Ganges and the river. 100 devotees, Western devotees were along with me. At least once you have to go there. If this time I'll go, I don't know. Anyway, this 8:30, time is up. Let's take prasadam, everyone. So this verse, Jatanada, 2 meanings are there. Achintya Bheda Bheda Tat. Advaitavadis and so the conception Mahaprabhu showed is Achintya Bheda Bheda Tata Siddhanta. That's what Mahaprabhu established. Achintya is inconceivable, oneness and difference at the same time. There's Bhed, difference, and Abhed, non-difference as well. Those who want to take into consideration only the Abhed, the oneness, okay, go merging Brahma, then merging Brahma. Who is prohibiting you? Because it's also in the Shastras, also true. Aham Brahmasmi, you can recite this mantra, I am Brahma, I am God, and go merging Brahma. Who is prohibiting you? Who is stopping you? First of all, you'll never really become Brahma, never. But yeah, go. Dive. So it's actually suicidal. You're killing your own soul. So there's Bheda and Abhed, difference and non-difference. Ramanujacharya gives the example. Jata bane vihanga Just like these birds, they merge in the forest. Merge means actually just enter, because the forest doesn't become bird doesn't become forest, but we don't know exactly. So you just see the bird going in the jungle and looks like the bird became forest, but actually no, they're still there separate. They're just inside the forest. So this verse also from Bhagavatam, Jata Nada, also is one kind of Vyasakut, means one very complicated verse from Vyasadeva, just like this other one, Vadanti Tata Vidas. Because when Vyasadeva, he actually wrote many Vyasakut, very complicated verses, because in this verse also Achinta Bida Bida Tata Siddhanta is there, and there's also many different meanings for this verse. The Advaitavadis, they take this verse to explain about their own philosophy. They say, oh, you see, like all the rivers become one in the ocean, like all the jivas also become Brahman, like that, they say. But no. The Advaitavadis and the devotees, that's the difference between them. So Mahaprabhu, what he showed, Achinta Bheda Deda Tata Siddhanta. Do you understand? Everything has their own individuality. They cannot actually become each other. Do you understand? So now they're going to do the class here. So let's take Giriraj Govardhana out. Keep how it was yesterday. Do you understand? Remove Giriraj, not to disturb that Shiva Purana people.